So basically in the past I've talked about MPC software, and specifically with the MPC Live and the Akai Force and the auto sampler function, which if you don't know about this, it's a function of those softwares or operating systems that create multi-samples on the fly. But what a lot of people don't know is that you can get this for free by going to this website, akaipro.com/mpc-beats, and you can download their free MPC Beats software, right? So this is game-changing for Modwave users, and I'll show you why. Okay, so here we are in the MPC Beats software. I'm going to show you a little bit. You can skip ahead if you want, but I'm going to show you where the preferences are. And in the preferences, I'm going to show you how you can set your VST, specifically your VST folder. So you go to plugins here, and I have 2 or 3 locations actually, and I didn't scan all these, but nonetheless I've got these spots where my VSTs are. Okay, and let's just say that I want to make I really love a serum patch or something like that, and I want to use it in the Korg Modwave. So here in the Modwave, I'm going to go down here to this track, the default track they put up for you. I'm going to turn it into a plug-in track, which is this marker here. And the default plugin with the free software is Akai's or Air Music Technology's Tube Synth. But here I have all of my VSTs, right? So if I go down to Loom, which is a paid synth, but it's one that I've been using a lot lately. It's also by Air. It was part of an insane deal from Plugin Boutique. It was like $300 or $400 worth of synths for under 10 bucks, so it's awesome. But what I can do here is I'll put a note in here so that you can hear the synth. Okay, and you can hear that's coming through. And you can use this button here to get the GUI, and let's just say that I want to get something polysynth. Let's say deep poly. I don't know what these are, but let's. Okay, that sounds beautiful, right? Really like the sound of that. So down here, I can see on the metering down here that it's not really loud enough that I want to take a sample and put it into the Korg Modwave. So I'm going to add actually some dynamics. I'm going to add a limiter. And in the limiter, you just click here to get the limiter GUI, and I'm going to crank the gain. Okay? I can see that it's reducing there a little bit. Now, for normal use, that's going to be maybe a bit loud, right, for your productions, but for inside the Modwave to use this as an oscillator, I prefer to limit them. I want them to be really loud and punchy, okay? Because otherwise they're going to compete to be as significant as a wavetable, especially their stock wavetable in the default oscillator, right? So I'm going to get rid of this and that note. And then here's where the magic happens. This is interesting right here. You go here to Tools, and it says Auto Sampler. Now, this auto sampler is going to spit MIDI out to that plugin that I just chose, and it's going to create a multi-sample, which is amazing, right? So it's recording from resample left and right, so it's resampling inside the software. And I'm going to go from, it says it goes from C2, okay? So what this means is you can set the range from C-2 to I think G8. Yeah, G8, and you could basically make it sample every single note. But what this is going to do is sometimes in the lower and higher registers, you don't want all that in your multi-sample. So this is going to go from C2, which is pretty. I'm going to go to C1. I'm going to have a sample from C1 to C4, all right? And this button here, this checkbox, it says extend minimum and maximum notes. That means that lower than C1, it's still going to give you a sample in this multi-sample, which Akai calls keygroups. It's going to go lower than the than this. It's just basically going to stretch lower than this and higher than this, higher than C4 across the entire keyboard. All right. Note stride means set to 6. It means it's going to record every 6 notes, right? So two notes per octave. You can set this to record all notes per octave, right? To 12, which is really interesting, but that's a lot of samples, right? Down here we have 4 layers of velocity, and we can turn these on and get 4 layers of velocity, but inside the Modwave, it's when we load up multi-samples, it's not possible, at least I don't think it's possible to use more than 1 layer of velocity. Down here we have note length, and this means it's going to record 3 seconds of each note, and it's going to give you a 1-second tail before it records the next one. We're going to call this, I can't remember what it was, we'll call it, we'll just call it poly 1, okay? And then that's the name of the patch. Down here you can enable looping, all right? And your Korg Modwave will use these loop points. What it will not use is the crossfade, right? The crossfade is great because this records in 44.1 kilohertz. So if you do 44100 here, if you're going to use these, whoops, 44100, if you're going to use these in any other software or whatever, this crossfade might come through, right? And that crossfade gives you a 1-second fade at the loop point, which is crazy. What we're going to do though is we're going to turn the loop off so that we don't have to deal with it, because otherwise if you set the loop point, it's just going to click inside of the Modwave. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to set it forwards like it was, and we're gonna loop. The loop point is gonna be at 1 second, and the loop end point is gonna be at 2 seconds, right? So it's gonna loop one. It's gonna loop 1 second, right? I'll turn this off to 0 just so we don't have a crossfade. Stop it. The reason why is because the crossfade isn't going to work inside the Modwave anyway, and I want to hear what it's going to sound like before we load it. We'll make this the current program, and it's telling you that when we do creating this is going to take 24 seconds. So yeah, I just set all this up for you. It took me a second to explain it, but honestly, this is something I can do in like 10, 15 seconds. Now do it. Listen to this. It's recording the notes. I can see the multi-samples populating over here on the right. I hear some vibrato in there. I didn't know it was in there. You can see the levels are nice and hot over here. Okay, now I have this. It's amazing, especially it sounds like old school rave. So down here we have our samples. What we're going to do here is where it says the key group, right here, poly 1, right click, save. And we're going to go up to the desktop where I have a folder called key groups, and I've been making these. I've been making a bunch of them, and we'll save this. Boom. Now down here I'm going to open up the Korg Sample Builder. And I'm going to shut down MPC, don't save, don't need it. Inside the Sample Builder, right? Here's my screencasting, hold on. Inside the Sample Builder, key groups, that's where we just saved our stuff, okay? Inside here I have a Modwave folder, so these are what the key groups look like that I've been making. The one we just made, okay, here we'll go to multi-sample. This is a brand new multi-sample. Here we'll go to the poly 1 that we just made, okay? Select all these, and I'm just going to drag these down onto the keyboard. Boom, it automatically populates it. And look at the thickness of that wave. I'm going to set down my mic and I'm going to plug in my Modwave, right? So right now we go to bank. Oh, no, you have to name this. So I'm going to name this, what did I use? It was, well, we called it poly 1. So poly 1. And the author, we'll call it Loom VST. And then the category, it says poly. Honestly, it was more of a lead, I think. So we'll call it a lead. And then we'll go to File, and we'll save multi-sample. And if you remember, I have that inside the keygroups folder. I've got my Modwave folder, so I'm going to put it in there. And it's saving. Now we go to bank, and there it is. Okay, so now I'm going to put down this mic, and I'm going to connect the Korg Modwave. Here's the issue that some people are having. They can't get the Modwave to show up in the software and this and that. All I'm doing is the Modwave is already running. I'm just plugging and playing with the USB cable. I have never had a problem, so I don't really know how to help you troubleshoot if that's the issue, but I'm going to do that now. Hold on. Okay, you heard it connect, so I'm going to go back to multi-sample, back to bank. I'm just waiting for it to show up here. Yep, okay, it showed up. Send bank. So we're just going to send it to Korg Modwave. Preparing bank, installing bank, cleaning up. Done. Now I'm going to close this. Any unsaved changes in the bank will be lost. No problem. I've already got it saved. Over here, I don't think the Modwave shows up. Yep. I'm just going to unplug it and play. And yeah, I'll show you guys what the multi-sample that we just created on the fly with free software sounds like in the Korg Modwave. Okay, so here we are in the Modwave. I'm in a very, very enclosed space. The noise levels in the mic are probably high. Not really sure, but I'm just going to show you how this is done and how we find our wave that we made, our multi-sample. We're going to go to Init Performance. As soon as I finish this, then I'm just going to put the mic down and do some sound design and do some playing, right? But here we are in the initial performance. And in wave select here, obviously add by default, only layer A is active. Let's turn down the level, whoops, on all the oscillators, right? No sound. Now we'll go to here and we'll go to the sample, right? Now it's called poly. We're just going to start turning this value until we find the P's. There are a lot in here. LMNO. Okay, there it is. Poly 1. So we'll go enter. All right, now let's listen. Oh, got to turn up the level. And there it is, what we just made. Let's go to the amp envelope, turn up the release a little. Haha. Okay, turn the level all the way up. Hear the bass come through. Let's turn the sub up. Let's mix it with the default wavetable. All right. Okay, now you're hearing that that loop point. It's not exactly smooth. It's not the best. Let's go a little higher and hear what it sounds like. Let's turn down these other oscillators. Let's listen. Yeah, definitely clicky. I think it would be better in the future, moving forward, to turn off the loop point in the MPC software, in the auto sampler, and just take maybe 6 or 10 seconds of each note. I wish there was a way to edit the samples inside of the Modwave or the Modwave software and set a crossfade at the loop point. Okay, I'm just going to set the mic down and build some sounds out of this. I'm going to mix with one of the wavetables that I built in the last video. Okay, one of the things that I like to do sometimes when I throw a new sample in is I'll go to the performances and I'll choose one, ambient starlight. Let's check this out. Some of these already have chaos physics. And things like that. A lot of these modulation possibilities and effects have already been applied to a lot of the presets. So what I'll do, physics off. Let's find one with more stuff. Obviously, I don't mess around with these presets that much. Ooh. Oh boy. Let's see. Okay, let's try that one. So in the B, let's check the levels. Okay, so in B, I'm going to change this to a sample, and I'm going to go to our poly sample that we made, the multi-sample. I'm going to put it in there. So many. I wish there was a better way to navigate. If there is, let me know. Okay, let's play with this for a while. Anyway, that's how you quickly make a multi-sample in the MPC Beats software, and that's how you get it to populate a multi-sample in the Korg Wave Builder or Sample Builder software. That's how you use it in the Modwave. This is literally going to change my workflow for the next year or so. It's going to be awesome. Love you guys. Be blessed.